Hi, my name is Brant Zeeman, and I am a second-year master's student with Professor Griselli's lab at the University of Toronto. My thesis is on refracturing behavior with in-situ leaching. In-situ leaching, or ISL, is a method of mineral extraction that circulates fluid through a deposit to dissolve targeted minerals. ISL is presently used for uranium mining because uranium deposits often occur in high permeability sandstones and limestones, which allow significant fluid flow. By contrast, attempts to use ISL in base metal mining run into the twin problems of clogging and permeability. Clogging occurs due to iron sulfide minerals oxidizing to form an insoluble gel of iron hydroxide. This seriously impedes fluid flow over time and has caused ISL efforts to be largely abandoned. Low permeability of base metal deposits is another major issue, with past proposals to improve permeability ranging from nuclear explosives to hydraulic fracturing. In combination with clogging, these past attempts have proven uneconomic. My proposal investigates the effect of ISL on hydraulic refracturing. As ISL physically dissolves minerals, geometry and in-situ stress conditions surrounding a leached fracture changes significantly as leaching progresses. As a result, it seems likely that refracturing a leached ore would lead to different results compared to refracturing in gas and geothermal wells. Current research in these sectors has shown that new fractures may reorient in response to pore pressure depletion. It seems possible that stress may also reorient around a clogged and leached fracture, but current research has a gap in this area. Reoriented in situ stresses may allow new fractures to connect to existing flow channels while also bypassing the clog, which would be a behavior not yet explored in existing research. The ability to bypass clogs may help improve permeability while mitigating clogging issues, bringing ISL and base metals closer to practicality. Ultimately, I want to resolve two main questions. First, how do hydraulic fractures from refracturing interact with existing unpressurized excavations? Secondly, is there a set of conditions within which hydraulic fracturing can help mitigate clogging issues in ISL? This work will occur in two parts, a parametric numerical study followed by experimental validation. Numerically, I'm looking to simulate hydraulic fracturing on the centimeter scale using hybrid finite discrete element analysis, or FDEM. I will simulate the effects of hydraulically fracturing a borehole within the vicinity of an unpressurized flattened cavity. I'm varying parameters including far-field parameters like in-situ stress ratios and cavity orientation, rock properties such as stiffness and fracture networks, and injection parameters. I'm working within a biaxial stress regime. At the shallow depths of typical base metal deposits, in-situ stresses can vary wildly, and it is common to see horizontal stresses exceed vertical stresses. I'm looking to perform my work in Montney Shale, which is a well-characterized and readily available fine-grained, low-permeability rock. Shales can host several types of sulfide mineralization as well, which makes it an appropriate and promising target for ISL. I'm currently continuing to calibrate my FDEM parameters using prior test work to better guide the experimental portion of this project. In the experimental portion of this project, I will hydraulically fracture a borehole near an unpressurized cavity. I plan to use a cylinder of shale which has been split into two parts with a cavity milled into the mating surfaces and a borehole drilled into the upper piece. I will use a biaxial testing machine to simulate my chosen in-situ stress conditions while performing the fracturing experiment. Prior to and following each experiment, I will scan the samples to characterize pre-existing fractures and structures within the rock. I plan to use our lab CT scanner and a sequential grinding and imaging technique to examine how fractures develop during refracturing. Right now, I'm continuing to fine-tune parameters for calibrating the FDEM model to our sample rock. However, I have done a number of preliminary tests to validate my basic understanding. I found that generally fractures fall into three main categories: fractures that connect directly to the cavity, fractures that run towards the ends of the cavity, and fractures that run parallel to the cavity without connecting. The behaviors that I'm looking to pin down are fractures that run towards the ends of the cavity, which I call breakout fractures, as this would connect the borehole to the existing fracture network without flushing the existing clog further downstream. I found that behavior can be generally predicted by Mogis' solution to an elliptical excavation in an infinite elastic rock mass. Depending on if the borehole is in a region of tension and its distance from the excavation, one type of behavior seems to be favored over the others. But at the same time, I've seen several exceptions to that, as the wedging effect of hydraulic fracturing introduces significant complexity. Previous research to this point has focused on geothermal and gas applications, which is a very different context than ISL, both in terms of pre-existing stresses and magnitude of stress changes. It'll be very exciting to explore the behavior of hydraulic fractures in this context and to see if hydraulic fracturing can potentially help mitigate clogging and enable the wider application of ISL.